Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. We're going to see if my computer can handle taking this video. It is running 2 blocks of code in 2 different instances of the program R right now, and it's not very happy. So we'll see how this goes. I might have to scrap it. Anyway, today I wanted to do the last 10 books tag because I've seen a lot of people doing it around BookTube. It sounds fun. I don't think I've been formally tagged by anybody, but I want to do it. So the original tag was created by Mark Nash, so I will link his video in the description below. And I will also copy the questions in the description below, and I'll do timestamps like I usually do. So if you just want to compare answers to the same couple of questions across booktubers, you can just go right to it without having to listen to me babble about other things you don't care about. Okay, so prompt number 1, or question number 1, the last book you didn't finish. So the last book I didn't finish is a collection of poetry by Adrienne Rich, and it's her collection. I think it was just called Fox, and that was a DNF for me in September, and I actually talked about it in one of my very first videos on BookTube. I had a couple DNFs that month, so I will put that video in the cards here if you want to go see what else I DNF'd. Adrienne Rich, I really wanted to like her. She's a really well-respected, well-known feminist poet, should have been right up my alley, but her poetry was just a little too literary for me. I was too dumb for it. It's fine. And it was also a collection that I think she wrote later in life. And one thing I mentioned in my DNF video was I'd be curious to try to read poetry that she wrote when she was a little younger, just to see if maybe having more of that experience in common, since I haven't lived as a 50, 60, 70-year-old woman yet. And some of her poetry definitely had more of that feel to it, of more of that life experience than I have. So I'm not writing her out of my life, but I did DNF that book. I'll give her a try with another poetry collection in the future. Question number 2, the last book you reread. So that was Wheel of Time, book number 6, The Lord of Chaos. I reread that last year. I'm doing a very slow reread of The Wheel of Time. I think I started rereading the series in 2018, I want to say, and I'm currently stuck in book number 7, where I just can't get through the Perrin chapters. I'll get there eventually, but it's taken me a while to do the reread. Question number 3, the last book you bought. So, oh, and I meant to hold up Lord of Chaos, my beautiful copy. All right, the last book I bought. So I'm actually going to do a little book haul video that I'll share later this week, because I just bought some books yesterday and it was very fun. But one of those books, and I'm pretty sure the last one I actually pulled off a shelf in the bookstore, so that's why we're going with this one being the most recent, is Our Prison's Obsolete by Angela Davis, which I think is just a must read for everyone who's doing anti-racism work and trying to be more educated about our current social political system in the US, and the prison pipeline is a big part of that. So I'm very excited to, well, I don't know if excited is the right word. I'm even looking for, none of those words apply. I am going to read this. But I'm not sure how enjoyable it will be, but it will be, I'm going to be glad that I read it. All right. Yeah, see, I'm glad. I don't want to read about prisons and racism in the way of like it, you know, it's hard, but I do enjoy doing it. I enjoy learning. Okay. Question number 4, the last book you said you read but didn't. So I'm not going to be able to think of a specific thing. I tend to not say I've read books when I haven't read them. The only thing I can think of along those lines is like assigned reading in college. I always read books that were assigned, but I'm pretty sure in college, just with like how high the reading load was and stuff, that that there were plenty of times where I'd read most of the book and maybe just had a chapter left or something before the class period where we were supposed to discuss it. So I've definitely done that, where I've shown up not quite having finished the book to a class, if that counts. But then I did always finish the books as part of those courses. I just didn't always do it on the timeline that the professor wanted. Question number 5, the last book you wrote in the margins of. So I'm doing that currently with this book, Undrowned, which I think I shared in my February TBR, and a few people commented on being interested in this book. It's Undrowned, Black Feminist Lessons from Marine Mammals by Alexis, Pauline, Gumbs. This book is fascinating. It's creative nonfiction, and as I read the introduction, I learned that this actually kind of came out of like a social media series that Alexis Gumbs did. So the kind of the passages, the entries in this book are extremely short, but then they're kind of organized thematically. And this book is blowing my mind, absolutely blowing my mind. I do own it. It was a gift from a friend. So normally with books, because I read a lot of library books, etc., I just do tabs for things I want to come back to. But since I own this book, and since it is supposed to be kind of a reflection prompting book, which is why Alexis Gumbs was doing social media posts originally, kind of posing queries and inspiration and thoughts to her community, and really trying to inspire reflection. And so this is a book that I want to kind of have a conscious awareness of on my bookshelf and return to it periodically over time. And so for that reason, I am doing some annotations in the margins. And one thing in particular, I'll just like bracket the start of a passage where it's just like, I just want to memorize that whole passage and just implant it in my brain. So I've been doing those kind of markings in the margins. Okay, number 6, the last book you had signed. So I don't think I have ever, I've never gone to an in-person author signing or anything. But I did buy deliberately a signed copy of Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson to support her new bookshop that she started just before the pandemic. And so she was selling signed copies of her existing books. So if anybody doesn't know Jenny Lawson, she's hilarious. And she writes very poignantly about mental health and makes it funny. She's also very weird and makes that funny. And she's just all around a good human and just really enjoyable to read her books. They're kind of humorist memoir essays. You should definitely check that out. And then because this is a chance to plug a kid's book, I have a signed copy of a random kid's book. That's one of my favorites. We don't have the dust jacket because this is from the Free Book Warehouse in Baltimore that I've mentioned a few times on my channel. This was a gift from a friend who picked it up for us. But it is signed by the illustrator, not the author. But I just wanted to plug it quickly because I think the illustrations in this book are amazing. They have kind of a woodcut look. And I've never actually bothered to look up this book to see if that's actually how the illustrations were done or if that's just the feel that the illustrator has. But I absolutely love these illustrations. And this book is called Miss Bridie Chose a Shovel, and it's the story of an immigrant woman from somewhere in Europe in sometime in the 19th century coming to the U.S. and getting married and starting a farm and just, some things that happen. And it's just a lovely kid's book. It's also in meter, which is really nice to read. Okay, question number 7, the last book you lost. I do not lose books. I am very type A about my books because they are precious. So I don't lose them. The only thing that comes close is I think once or twice I've lent a book to a friend and that friend still has it. And I can't think of a specific example, but I'm pretty sure there are 2 or 3 books that I know those friends still have. So they still, are in my purview, but are not on my shelves. Question number 8, the last book you had to replace. So I'm a little bit weird. Well, so I've never lost a book to replace in that sense. I also am weird in that the more damaged a book gets, the more I love it. Yeah, I like damaged and worn books. And so I even have books where the cover's missing or something because it's an old paperback and I won't replace it. I'll just keep reading that book or just enjoying its tattered existence in my apartment. So I don't replace books. I've even had books, some of my field guides, bird field guides and things where I've been taking them camping and on boats and in the desert and the pages all get stuck together and then I painstakingly unstick all the pages. And even if there's a few pages where some of the information is obscured, I still keep them because I love the fact that they look really beat up and loved and used. Question number 9, the last book you had an argument over. I've never had a real argument over a book, but I've had fake arguments over books just because it's fun to, give your friends a hard time. So one example is my friend Zach from work. I'm going to call him out. He occasionally watches my channel, so we can keep fighting about books, Zach, anytime you want. He would bring his Kindle to work, and he usually eats lunch after a lot of other people in our office, and so he would just kind of read, eating lunch in our break area. And so we would talk about the books he was reading. And at one point he said something like, I've read every major fantasy series ever published. And I was like, slow your roll. No way. And I started quizzing him, and I asked him about the Wheel of Time, which is one of the biggest ones. And he was like, no, I haven't read the Wheel of Time. So I was like, are you effing kidding me? Get off your high horse, dude. So we kind of fought about that. And he's now reading Wheel of Time and just finished the 5th or 6th book or something, I think. And pretty sure he's not a huge fan of me for making him read it, because he's getting into the slog where Perrin gets really annoying, basically. So that's an argument over books, I guess. All right, question number 10, the last book you couldn't get hold of. So I did end up getting hold of it. It's called Island of Shattered Dreams by Chantal Spitz. And this was a book selected, I think, in January for an international read around the world book club. I'm not remembering the name. It's organized through Goodreads. And I'd kind of wanted to join. I was on the fence because I already had a lot of other commitments, but I went ahead and ordered this book, and Amazon told me I wouldn't get it until May. And so I was totally written it off. I think that maybe counts as a book you can't get a hold of, or at least will take too long. And of course, then it did end up arriving totally out of the blue a week or so ago. And I do want to read this. This is by a Tahitian writer, which I think sounds really cool. And I'm just looking at the back right now. It's a family saga, doomed love story set against the background of French Polynesia in the period leading up to the first nuclear tests. So definitely sounds like something I would enjoy. But a little frustrating that I didn't get it. So those are my 10 last books. Hope that tag was enjoyable. If you would like to do the tag, please do. Let's see, I probably should tag some people. So I will tag Liz at For Booking Out Loud. And I will tag Laura at The Reading Mushroom. So links to their channels below. And I hope you too enjoy doing the tag or want to do the tag. All right, I hope to see everyone in the next video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. And talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.